Okay, y'all, so we are going to be working with the things we have been doing so far in Unit 3. Alright, so far we worked on proportional relationships, solving proportions, and slope and standard form, going back and forth between those two. So starting with proportional relationships. Looking at these, we're just trying to tell if these pairs are proportional. That means that they're the same. Okay? So we have 1 over 2, that's a half, right? And then we have 2 over 4. So 2 over 4, 2 is half of 4, right? So if we took this and we just pulled out common terms, we know that the top can be divided by 2, and so can the bottom, right? So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So once we simplify this, we get 1/2. So 1/2 and 1/2 are the same, therefore these are proportional. Okay? Looking at 3/7 and 2/3, okay, there's nothing common between these two, right? We can't pull anything out from 3 for 2 and for 3 and 7. Okay? If you put these in a calculator, these numbers would not come out to be the same thing, so these are not proportional. Looking at number 2 right here, we have 9 over 1 and 18 over 2. So if we do 9 over 1, we know we're going to get 9. So let's do 9 equals 18 over 2. Half of 18 is 9, so we get 9. Okay, these are proportional. 7 over 7, well, we know if the number on top and the number on bottom are the same, you get a whole number, so you get 1. Well, this is 100 and this is 100. Those numbers are the same. 7 and 7 are the same number, so that tells us that 7 over 7 is going to go to 1, and 100 over 100 is also going to go to 1. So these are both proportional. Alright, so that is all we're looking for in proportional relationships. Are they the same? Right? This is kind of similar to when we did equivalent expressions. You're just telling us, are these the same thing? Are they proportional? Are they going to be the same number? Okay? So, if we go down here to solving proportions, this is where we get into that butterfly method we talked about, our cross multiplication. Okay? So what you do, you either pick the top number or the bottom number to start with. It doesn't matter which one you do. And then you circle. So on this first one, I have 2/3 equals 4 over x. So what I'm trying to do is figure out what x is. Okay? So I would take my 2 and circle it, and then circle x. So you're going to circle numbers that are across from each other. So 2 is across from x, so you're just going to circle them. Alright? And then you multiply. So 2 times x. Well, 2 times x is 2x. Bring over your equal sign. And then you have 3 times 4, and you're just going to circle these. Okay? So 3 times 4 is 12. Okay? So this just turns into that single-step equation like we did before. So in the single-step equation, I want to figure out what x is. So to figure out what x is, I have to take the number in front of x, which is 2, and divide it on both sides. So I do my division sign, and I do 2 and 2, like so. Well, 2 divided by 2 is 1, so these can cancel. X equals 12 divided by 2. Well, half of 12 is 6, so 12 divided by 2 is 6. Alright, so that's what we're doing on these. Okay, butterfly method. So let's try another one. Number 2, we have x and 1, so I'm going to go ahead and circle. Well, 1 times x is just x, right? 1x, or you can just put x. Putting x is fine. And then 2 times 2. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. So we just get x equals to 4. If you look, there's no number in front of x, so we don't have to divide anything. Okay? So we just go with our answer of x equals 4. Okay, moving down to number 3. We have x and 9. So that's 9 times x, which is 9x, like we talked about in the first one. Remember, we said 2 times x is 2x, so x times 9, or 9 times x, is 9x. Equals, then we do 2 times 9. Well, 2 times 9 is 18. And now we're just going to solve it again like we did a one-step equation. So, we would divide 9 on both sides. We have x equals 2. Because 18 divided by 9 is 2. Alright, over here, Same thing. We're just going to keep circling. So this is 7 times 2, which is 14. 2 times x, which is 2x. Divide again. And we get x equals 14 divided by 2 is just 7. Alright, so that is the first part that we've been working on. Okay, these are just solving proportions. These were in the first 2 weeks. So I'm hoping this helps on the proportion side. Now I'm going to pause really quick and we're going to go on to our next part. Okay, so we're going back to our slope and standard form. Alright, so just a quick refresher. When we're talking about slope, so slope-intercept form, that's y equals mx plus b. If you notice, you just have y by itself on the left-hand side, and then on the right you have mx and b. So mx is just the number that has x with it. So that could be something like 2x, 3x, 4x, 1/2 x. B is just a number by itself. So that could be 1, 2, 3, 4, a million, whatever. Okay? Standard form. Standard form is ax plus by equals c. So ax is, again, a number with x. So that could be 1x, 2x, 3x, a million x. By, same thing as ax, but except you have y. So this is going to be a different number with y. So that's like 2y, 3y, a million y, whatever. C is just a regular number by itself. Okay? So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, a trillion, whatever. Alright? So from slope to standard. So we're going from this form to this form. We want to move from y equals mx plus b, as we have here y equals 2x plus 4. That's in the form of y equals mx plus b. We're going to move it to ax plus by equals c. Okay? So to do that, we want to get 2x on the same side as y. Alright? So if we're looking here, we see that 2x is a positive number. Right? There's no negative number in front of it, so it's positive. So we do minus 2x on this side. Well, if we did it on the right-hand side of the equal sign, we have to do it on the left-hand side of the equal sign because they have to be even. So we do minus 2x under the y. Alright? So 2x minus 2x, that's like saying 1 minus 1. Well, 1 minus 1 is 0, so 2x minus 2x also has to be 0. Right? So we cancel. I'm going to draw me an arrow so I know which way I'm working. So, if we look over here, y and 2x, well, they both don't have an x and they both don't have a y, right? Y is a different letter than x. Therefore, you cannot subtract these two. So you just have to write them together. Well, I know that ax is going to come first. So I'm going to take negative 2x and put it first. So negative 2x goes first, right? And it's negative because we subtracted. Then I have y. Well, that's by, and it comes next. And y is positive because I don't see a negative sign in front of it, so it has to be positive. So I do plus y, bring over my equal sign. And if you remember, I canceled this, so the only thing left over here is a positive 4, so I just put down 4. Okay? So if you're going from slope to standard form, if you look over here, this is in standard form, right? You have your ax, your by, and then your c. Okay? So you have two things with variables on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, you have one thing without a variable. Okay? So let's go on to the next one. This one is going to be pretty similar to this one. So you notice in the last problem we just subtracted 2x, excuse me. Well, in this one we have a 4x, and this 4x is also positive. So we would subtract 4x. Remember, we have to do the opposite to get rid of this number. So the opposite of positive 4x is negative 4x. You do the same thing over here, minus 4x. Well, 4x minus 4x is 0, so it's gone. Draw your arrow. Then you have your negative 4x. Well, that comes first. You have your y. That comes second. And left over, you have a negative 3. See that right there? It's a negative 3. So you have negative 3. And that's your answer. Okay? Now we're going to go down to here. These get a little bit more complicated because we see some fractions. But it's not too bad. It's going to be about the same. Okay? So we start off the same. We subtract 1/2 x from both sides. 1/2 x from both sides. Then we cancel, right? These will always cancel. Okay? So the first thing you subtract with is going to cancel. So make sure y'all remember that. Okay? Put it back in the order. I have 1/2 x plus y equals 7. Okay? Now let's move on to our next one. We have negative 3/2 x plus, oops, excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. Alright, negative 3/2 x. These cancel. So you have negative 3/2 x plus y equals 1. Okay? Now, there's something that we got to do on both of these. We have to get rid of our fraction. Alright? So, we want to get rid of the fraction, and to get rid of the fraction, you take the number on bottom, okay, so they both got 2's on the bottom, that's the denominator, and you multiply everything in the problem by that number, okay, so you do, put parentheses around it, times 2, parentheses, times 2, okay, so 1/2 times 2, well that's just 1, but look right here, it's a negative 1, so negative x, plus 2 times y, well that's 2y, equals, because that's like saying 2 times 1, right? But you have a y there, so you have to tack them together. And then 2 times 7 is 14. Okay? And that's it. Now we fixed it. Well, on this one, we got to do the same thing. Multiply everything by 2. Negative 3 over 2 times 2 is just going to be negative 3 because those 2's cancel, right? So we just got negative 3x plus 2 times y. Well, over here it was 2y. So it would stand to reason that over here it should also be 2y. Equals, well, 2 times 1, that's 2. Okay? And that's how you go from slope to standard. Now, if we're doing the opposite, going from standard to slope, it's about the same thing, right? So, we have 2x plus y equals 4. Now, if you remember, slope looks like y equals mx plus b. This is close, but we have to move some stuff around. So we start with negative 2x on both sides. Well, this 4 does not have an x, so I cannot do anything with these two. These, however, will cancel. Then you draw your arrow, and you have y equals negative 2x plus 4. Alright? And I want to make sure I can get one of these done real quick before my timer runs out. So let me go ahead and do number 3 with you. And if we have time for 2 and 4, I'll do those with you. If not, y'all just try those at home and let me know what you get for them, and I'll let you know how you did on them, okay? So let's start with number 3. So again, we're going to move it to y equals mx plus b. That means we want the y value by itself, but this has a 2 in front of it, so we're going to see what we need to do with that 2. So this is a negative 2x. The opposite of that is a positive 2x. So you add 2x to both sides, okay? Then you can cancel, right? You have 2y equals positive 2x plus 6. Okay? Well, it's y equals mx plus b, not 2y equals mx plus b, or another number with y in front of y. So to get rid of this and make it just y, you have to divide by the number in front of y. And if you divide over here, you have to divide over here as well. Okay? So when we divide, we get these cancel, because they're 2 and 2 on top. 2 and 2 on the top cancels. Well, this is 2 and 2 again, and 6 divided by 2 goes to 3. Alright, so if we clean this up, and we do y, because that's what we have left over, equals x is what we have left over here, plus 3, well, that's y equals mx plus b now. Okay? So that is how you do these two. Alright, so y'all try these two. I'm running out of time on this one, unfortunately. So try this. If you have any questions, please let me or Mr. South know, and we will do our best to help you on that. But I hope this video helps, and if you got confused on anything up until this point, I'm really hoping this video will help you. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will see y'all later.